Hey guys, what's up? Brandon here, and welcome to the Lake Series. The whole purpose of this Lake Series is to, if you're new to Tulsa or you're new to fishing or just want to know more about the lakes in the area, that's what it's designed to do. So let's get into this week's lake. Okay, so this is Lone Chimney Lake. It is a 514 acre lake. It's located just pretty much west of Tulsa. It's about an hour drive depending on where you're at in Tulsa. It's located just north of Highway 412. This lake was built in 1980, primary water source for several small towns in the area. Because of this, a lot of these towns requiring the water, it has gone through severe drought several times. The most recent one was in 2014, January 2014, when the lake was about 11 foot low, below normal. And the news actually reported on this lake, and it was they were saying it was within a few weeks of running out of water, until record rainfall in 2015 saved it. But that was kind of the case when I was there. Since this whole summer it's been so dry, we didn't get much rain, so the lake was really low, really exposing, as you'll see, is all the standing timber in the lake. So the main river source feeding this lake is Camp Creek, which basically feeds all the way through. It's not a big river by any means, so the reason when it goes low, it stays low is because it requires rainfall to fill this lake. Here's the dam right here. It's got little water intakes, two of them that pump, I believe, into this water plant over here that treats it for the towns around it. For the boat ramps, there's two of them. There's a Lone Chimney North and the South boat ramp. I recommend the South one. I haven't done the North one. The only reason I recommend the South because it's real close to the highway. As for lake breakdown, I've only been to this lake once. Doing research and everything, and then being there, from what I can tell, the lower end is the most open, down here by the dam. It's mostly open. It has some timber in it and rock, but as you get to the middle section of the lake, it really shows a lot of that standing timber. It's so thick, like even the main channel that winds through, you really have to watch your graph as well as the where you're going, because there's so much timber right on the edges of that channel. There's just a small lane that kind of winds through. I would say really from where I launch here, this south boat ramp, to the west all the way down through the lake is standing timber. I pretty much stopped right around this island, just because the lake was low and there's so much timber. I didn't want to commit that much time to going down here. I feel like if I was going to do that, I wouldn't get much fishing time, especially that I have to idle all the way back, given all the timber. So I pretty much stayed from this mid-lake area towards the dam. If I do get to go back, I will try to take some time and go more south to see it. But for the most part, just judging by the navionics in my map on my boat, it's pretty much creek channel through here, with the sides being pretty shallow with a lot of timber. So I found what I needed for the most part up by the dam, which I'll get into here in a second. Judging by the lake and looking at it and being there, I can't for sure tell you, but I think it's probably dirty to muddy year round. There wasn't a lot of grass in the water. Maybe that's due to it being low and everything's died out through the summer. I didn't see a lot of reasons to believe that it cleared up much, especially with not much rock. I saw a little bit of like reeds and stuff that have been in the water at some point, which could possibly clear this lake a little bit when it's up. But at this point it was pretty dirty. The good thing about this lake, there is Navionics, Humminbird, and I'm assuming Garmin has this lake mapped. So you're not going there completely blind, which is nice with all the standing timber. You have a little bit of you can find creek channels and drop offs and things like that. The primary species here are largemouth, white bass, crappie, and catfish. And from what I'm hearing, the crappie population is really good, and they're good solid crappie as well as the largemouth. As for stocking reports, so this lake has really been taken care of over the years. It's been since, I look back at from 2017, Florida strain were stocked in this, 220 of them at 6 inches. And as you can see, all the way up to 2021 as the most recent, they've released with Florida strain 205 at 10 inches. So they've really almost every year stocked about 200 Florida strain largemouth in there. Tournament data, not much tournament data. They do host several kayak tournaments here, which makes sense. Okay, so for fishing areas, really, like I said, I stayed pretty much up here in this end by the dam. The boat launch is about right here, and like I said, going across here to the west, this is all timber. And from what I found when I went into this timber, which this map doesn't show as well as my Hummingbird map does, but this creek channel winds through here, and keep in mind that's all timber. And it was just almost too much. From what I find is if you get too much of anything, it's too much for the fish to relate to. It's hard to break down. Yeah, you can probably get in there and find fish, but it's almost like fishing in millions of shad. It's like you almost have to get out of the shad because there's too much to compete with. Same with the timber here. I worked my way down here to this point, found some good drop-offs here. I fished this edge right here. There was good. This map really is not accurate compared to my Hummingbird, but this creek basically swung all the way up against this right here, and it pushed right against this 10-foot ledge, which it made a ledge, and there's timber on the edge of it, and it was pushing shad up on this flat. And I had a couple blow-ups, threw some top water, some other things, and just couldn't get anything to bite. So I kind of moved on down. I moved over here and just trying to fish around the timber, but there's so much that I don't feel like the bass are really sticking on anything, especially the bigger ones. So I made my way more down the lake this way towards the dam. And as I got down here, I kind of liked it. It sets up more like a regular lake. You got rock off this point here, no timber right in this area. These little creeks and cuts with some, laydowns and several things that I just feel more confident fishing rather than just timber out in the middle of the open. Was able to catch one right against the boat ramp here off a square bill. And then, I worked my way down the dam. The dam has potential too. It's obviously got a bunch of rock on it, which fish will get up against that. And then really the only timber I fished was in the middle of this because it was just kind of a row of timber. It wasn't a ton. And it was right on the edge of this drop off. So basically it's shallow here and then it drops down in the deep water, and that timber was kind of lined on that drop. So I was kind of flipping a jig around this timber, and I was able to catch one off the very tip. And the reason I picked that very, very last piece of timber there, or why I believe I caught one there, is because it was the last piece of timber. It was almost like it was a little bit more isolated off by itself compared to the row of timber that was in the middle there. As you probably see here from the drone shot, it was just kind of off by itself. So I focused on that piece there, and I was able to get a pretty good sized fish off of it, 3.5 pounder. I did like the back of this creek just because I think it's good spawning ground. It was just so low that getting back there, your trolling motor is bumping into logs. So I feel like hopefully this spring we'll get more rain and it'll fill back up, and I think that's going to put so much other things in the water. There's a lot of laydowns up on the bank, some grass, some reeds I saw that were up that could be in the water and have so much more potential in the spring, especially when they're going to go shallow anyways. A lot of this stuff could play if the lake fills back up. So overall, I'm probably going to give this lake a B+. It has those big bass in it that are stocked in here, which right there it shoots up on my rating. The downside of it is it's so low with so much standing timber. I feel like it really limits where you can fish. But that's Lone Chimney Lake. If you want to catch some big bass or potential catch big bass, that's one you should check out. Thanks for watching.